how you doing? I'm Instructor Dwayne Jenkins. Thanks so much for being here. Today's video lesson we are going to be discussing the melodic minor scale. Okay, so if you've heard the name, not too sure what it's about, stick around and I'll show you what it's all about and how to use it.
Audio Jungle.
Alright, so now we're talking about the melodic minor scale. When it comes to minor scales, you got a lot of different ones out there. You've got your, minor pentatonic, which is the one that we're, mostly associated with playing guitar solos. You got your natural minor, you got your harmonic minor, diminished minor, melodic minor. There's all kinds of different minors, right? So in today's lesson, we're going to talk about the melodic minor scale. It's probably one of the easiest minor scales to create, okay? It's actually easier to create than the natural minor, all right? And what's interesting about the melodic minor scale is it doesn't really come from the pentatonic or the modes, which are your scales that come out of the 7 notes of the major scale. Okay, that's a whole nother lesson later for that. But the melodic minor scale is a really easy scale to figure out and use, okay? And we're going to take the lesson from this book I wrote here called Lead Guitar Wizardry. And one of the things that people asked me about was why I teach out of books so much. And the reason why is because that's how I learned how to play guitar, was from books long time ago, before the internet and YouTube and everything. Now we have YouTube, so it makes it makes learning a lot easier, so you can just kind of watch somebody like this and learn a lot faster. But learning from video is great, and if that's working for you, I say keep doing that. But if not, then try books. Books are a good way of doing it, and the benefit of books is you can kind of go at your own pace. You can just take it page per page, lesson per lesson, and go at the pace that works for you. Is where sometimes video, the instructor instructs too fast. I've heard people tell me, I try learning from video, but YouTube videos, but they're too fast, or they don't explain themselves well enough, and I got to watch 3 or 4 different videos. That's the benefit of books, is that, I've kind of found that too. When I was first learning a long time ago, I was trying to learn from like DVDs and stuff like that, and sometimes the instruction would be going quick and I'd have to return it, rewind it, rewind it so that I could understand best, what he was talking about, or try to, do stuff like that because it was hard to understand. Maybe he didn't explain it. I'd have to go through it a few times. The thing about books is they allow you to progress at a much slower rate, okay? And sometimes that's really helpful, all right? So, videos is great, but if you need an alternative, I recommend checking out some books. There's a lot of good instruction books out there. I've written a lot of them myself. This is one of them I've written, like I said right here, Lead Guitar Wizardry. This is volume 2. I wrote volume 1, talks about how to get started playing guitar solos, and then this kind of goes into, more advanced techniques and things like that. So we're going to be working out this book today, and this is chapter 5, chapter 6. Yeah, chapter 5, lesson 22, the melodic minor, okay? The melodic minor is an alternative you can use to create a different type of emotion or color, as you will only flatten the 3rd tone degree instead of all 3 as in the natural minor, okay? So as I've stated many times before, it's all about the intervals. Remember that intervals is what you want to master, okay, when it comes to scales. All right, and even really chords too. All right, intervals. Remember, interval is the distance between the notes. Okay, with the minor scale, you just flatten. With this melodic minor scale, you just flatten the 3rd. So let's take a look at some examples. All right, now when you have a major scale. All right, let's just take the A major scale for instance. Right here, it's going to have that do re mi, do re mi fa sol la ti do. Okay. And that's it. That's 1 octave across the first, these 3 strings. Now, if it doesn't have that, it's not the major scale. Period. Okay. So remember that your major scale is always going to have the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. That's why we learn that when you're a kid, you first introduced to music. That's the first thing you learn because of that specific thing. Okay. That's like the tree trunk, and everything branches out from there. All right. Now, when you have a natural minor scale, you're going to flatten the 3rd, the 6th, and the 7th. And it doesn't matter what key you're in, whether you're in the key of A, G, B, F, C sharp, B flat, doesn't matter, okay? You flatten the 3rd, the 6th, and the 7th, and you got a natural minor scale, okay? Now, the melodic minor is actually easier than that, all right? And it is created by just flattening the 3rd and keeping the 6th and the 7th natural, all right? So, for instance, if here in the key of A, if we decided to create the melodic minor scale, we would take the first, the 1 is the Do, the 2, now the 3 is naturally right here, and we're going to flatten it. Now we could play it here. We flatten it means you just take it back by 1 note. Now we could take it to here, but that's kind of a stretch, you know? So it'd be easier to play it here on the 6th string. It's a C note here, C note here. If you listen, they're the same note, okay? This one's on the 5th string, this one's on the 6th. So it would be easier to just go 1, 2, flat 3 right here on the 6th string. So now we have a 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so our major scale, our melodic minor scale. And as you can hear, see how it just gives it a darker sound, a darker tone to the notes? Okay, and that's just in 1 octave. Now we could do 2 octaves across the fretboard by going from Do to Do, which would be 1 to 1. So our next one is going to be right here, and then we could go from here. If we wanted to do a major scale, we could go right, Do. And this would be a good thing for you to do too for ear training, you know, to go Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do. So that's our major scale in a 2nd octave, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 notes. Now we're going to flatten the 3rd to make it a melodic minor. So that's 1, 2. The 3rd is naturally right here. We're going to flatten it to here. So now we're going to go 1, 2, 3, or flat 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We can even add the 2 in there too, if we want to, the B. So that right there was a melodic minor scale in both octaves, okay? So remember, if you want to make a melodic minor scale, you just have to flatten the 3rd. That's even easier than making the natural minor scale, all right? And one thing, and what it does, okay, is it changes your half steps. Now let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. In a major scale, you're going to have, if you went across the board, I mean along the fretboard in on 1 string, let's say we did it on the 6th string right here. Okay, we can hear the Do, Re, Mi. Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do. Right? So that major scale tells us that we have 2 half steps, one between the 3rd and the 3 and 4, and one between the 7 and 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So 3 and 4 next to each other. 5, 6, 7, 8. So the 7 and 8 are next to each other, and the 4 and 3. Okay, we can even do it on this string. Right? Now, what the melodic minor does is it changes that half step between the 3 and 4, and it moves it between the 2 and the 3. So now you have 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now you have a half step between the 2 and the 3, and the 7 and the 8. So in A it would be A, B, C flat, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A. Okay? And notice how it changes the tone of that scale. It almost seems like down here it's kind of dark. It darkens it by changing that half step, okay? So you want to think about that, because if you want to darken your tone, you want to have kind of a dark, moody type of sound, flatten that 3rd in the scale, and it'll do the job. All right, so there you have it. probably the easiest minor scale to create, the melodic minor scale, all right? Because all you have to do is do what? Just flatten the third, that's it. You don't have to flatten the sixth and the seventh like you do in the natural minor, okay? And in the minor pentatonic, you flatten the third and the seventh, okay? So that's even easier than the minor pentatonic scale, all right? So, but you do have to know your notes, all right? So I would highly recommend learn your notes. If you need some help with that, I've got some videos on my YouTube channel on that stuff. So check that out, okay? And know that, like, if you're playing an A minor chord, you know this A minor melodic scale is going to work over it. Because they both have a flat third in them, okay? So remember that if you're ever playing, and if you need some help and you like books at all, check out this book that I wrote. It's called Lead Guitar Wizardry Volume 2. I've got Volume 1 as well. You can check that out. And I've got some other books too on how to play like acoustic guitar and how to get started and improving your rhythm and stuff like that. You can check out all those books. I have them on my website. I sell them on Amazon, and I also have them in my eBay store too, so you can check that out. Oh, and you know what's cool is I got this one thing today for my eBay store. Thought I was going to show this to you in the video. It's pretty cool. Check this out. It's a this is pretty neat. It's a keychain. Check this out. It's a keychain, little guitar keychain. Isn't that cool? Has a little guitar and it's made of leather, and it comes with these picks. Comes with these 5 picks. I'm going to list this in my eBay store. I don't have it yet, but by the time you see this video, I probably will. I'll leave a link below. But it comes with picks, you know. 5 picks. These are like some thin celluloid picks, and you can put them right in there. It comes with 5 of them. Then you have a little pick holder. Pretty cool, huh? So if you're interested in that, check that out. It'll be in my eBay store, you know. And these are nice picks. I like these kind of picks, these thin celluloid picks for strumming, you know, because they give real good, you know. But when I'm playing like lead guitar, I want a thicker pick, you know. Some people ask me about that too, what kind of pick to use. Well, for me, I like to use these sharp picks, these like Tortex green sharp picks, because they help with the articulation, you know, when I'm playing like some solos or something, you know. Really help with that. But if I'm strumming like my acoustic guitar, then I'll use some of these thinner picks. So something to think about for yourself. And like I said, I'll leave some links below for some of the stuff that I use, and you can check it out. It might help you with your guitar playing, all right? So thank you once again for watching. I appreciate it. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for future notifications. And thanks again for being here. Keep practicing. Until next time, take care.